Some people might not know that we are a vertically integrated company, meaning that we manufacture all of our products, we have all of our own research and development in-house. Why is that something that would be very important to estheticians?
Sure. Relying on our business management and marketing training, vertical integration, which again means that we're capable of sourcing all of our raw materials. We do all of our own in-house formulations and manufacturing, distribution, and sales. So that's something that we were doing before Circadia. So it was actually the contract manufacturing business that came before the founding of Circadia as a brand, which is what my grandfather was involved in many, many years ago. So it kind of, again, is one of those things that's baked into the DNA of who we are. It makes for a great opportunity for us to instill great quality control when it comes to product formulation, product production, because it keeps a very close eye on those individual departments. So we can also produce our formulations for a great price point when you look at the different channels that you have to go to when it comes to formulating products, getting product produced, shipping, warehousing, distribution. A lot of those things will elevate and inflate some of the costs, but when everything's done under one roof, it allows us to not necessarily eliminate, but certainly lower some of those costs. So when you look at price comparisons with our brand and some of the others, we do have a very conservative price point, and we've positioned ourselves in the market as a premium affordable brand.
I think that's so important to mention because price is not always the dictator of how well a product is formulated, and allowing us to cut out the middleman. In a sense, it allows us to pass those savings on to our partners and then onto the consumer. And that brings me to one of our other points as far as manufacturing is concerned. You're so transparent with the ingredients that you're using, the percentage of ingredients that are in the formulations, and I think that also is part of having everything under one roof.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, I think that there's a very high level of appreciation on the part of our partners, again, with that level of transparency, discussing percentages, discussing the different types of ingredients that are in a formula, everything from that to pH, understanding really what goes into producing a product, and also inviting our partners in to see the research and development, to see the manufacturing. I mean, it's very rare that a partner gets a chance to come in and see where their products are actually made. And we've seen that with the tours that we've done at our facility over the last couple of years since we've made that an option and made that available.
Getting through COVID, I'm sure a lot of our partners can attest to us being able to supply products immediately and really trying to minimize any of the issues with supply chain. Do you feel like being a manufacturer helped to get through some of those supply chain issues?
Sure. I mean, obviously it was a bumpy road there for a while. And in some cases, we're still dealing with the fallout from that. There's still some ingredients that have essentially just been pulled off the market. Manufacturers of ingredients have just decided, hey, this is not worth it for them to continue to produce, so we've had to look for other alternatives. But it's also elevated the industry, the supply side of the industry, to up their game as well. So things that are a little bit more sustainable, things that are a little bit safer. So it's created a little bit of a momentum shift on the side of the ingredient suppliers. So it's also elevated how we as finished goods suppliers are producing the products for the consumer. And again, I think in the mind of the consumer, you mentioned about cost. When it comes to how much a formulation costs, the idea is that if it costs more, it is a better performer, but we know that that's not necessarily the case.
And when you do the tours, I think it's important for people who maybe haven't had the opportunity to tour the facility, the quality control that goes into having everything under one roof, it's so critical in knowing where your products are coming from, but even sourcing raw material. You're very particular as to what raw material you even allow to come into the facility.
Right, well, and again, there's other credentials that everything from the ISO, when we have international standards of organization, you have FDA, which is required for OTCs. So these are all certifications that we need to have for these regulatory bodies to come in, do inspections, whether it's for domestic or for exportation into Europe and other parts of the world. It's a constant process. There's constantly things that we have to do to make sure that we're adhering to these types of regulations that we need to.
And being FDA certified and ISO regulated, those are things that can sometimes be a pain, but it was important for you to have those credentials in order to keep the safety.
I mean, it's something that we absolutely need to have them available to be able to sell the type of products that we do and export as much of the product that we do. But it also just makes for a much better product. I mean, if you're following these criteria, it makes for a much better product.